I am just so happy for you to have reached 50 years in banking, and you have been a blessing to so many people. Um, and I thank you for your integrity. I thank you for your friendship. I thank you for all of the efforts and thoughts that you've shared over the years. So congratulations on 50 years.
When we look at Tom and Sue, we see the kind of community values that focus on people and what matters to people, and a recognition that success in banking is more than just the profits this quarter. It's the success of the people who bank there.
When I think of someone who's been 50 years in banking, and I think that this person is filled with integrity, loyalty, encouragement, and a servant spirit, I'm not terribly surprised that he's had 50 years of successful banking experience. And I look forward to continuing relationship with you, both on a personal level, as a ministry standpoint, with outreach to young people. And I'm so proud of you. So the Lord bless you and keep you strong and healthy and energetic for the next phase ahead.
Tom has a history that is 50 years long with United Way. He's been a leader really for 50 years, starting in Stillwater when he was a loan executive. The millions of dollars of impact that First Oklahoma Bank has had on the nonprofit community and the Tulsa area United Way has really, that impact has enabled us to do things that we wouldn't have otherwise been able to do.
He gave us opportunity. He gave us hope. We've given a lot of people hope and opportunity. He took the time to mentor me, not just in the pizza business and the people business.
The event we're celebrating today is Tom Bennett Jr.'s 50th year in banking. As you can tell and probably know, Dad's story is much bigger than banking. It's a story of faith, family, and friends.
Met Tom when I became a freshman at Oklahoma State. I got rushed by the Sigma Nu House, and Tom was a senior, and I believe he was commander also at that time. That's when we all figured out that Tom was probably going to be the President of the United States. Yeah, he set great examples back in those days. He was the same as he is now. He sang, he'd go by himself and play the guitar and sing in bars. Is that okay to say?
Dad's start in banking actually wasn't working at a bank at all. His first job was when he was hired by Stillwater National Bank to be a loaned executive to the Payne County United Way in the early 70s. It was after that first campaign that Stillwater National Bank CEO Bob McCormick offered him a job at the bank. It was also around the same time that he met Sue. In his early years, he worked his way up doing all of the jobs at the bank, from teller to collector, to proof operator, and finally to lending and management. Recruiting along the way, Gary Groom, his fraternity brother.
Now, I came from a banking family and kind of grew up with it, but I didn't plan on being a banker. My first real banking job was when he gave me a call one day and said, "Why don't you come up to Stillwater?" It was great to move back. That was exciting and everything, and so that actually got me started in banking.
And while he was building a banking career, he was also building a family. I showed up in 1976, Jim in 1977, and Hank in 1980. The early days were also where Mom and Dad became very active in church, leading Bible studies and student ministries.
He is my first cousin once removed. My grandmother and his mother very close. I was a freshman at Oklahoma State, and Tom and Sue had a master life class through the Baptist church in which they were members, and they invited me to participate. So it gave me a great opportunity to get to know both of them better.
While there was a lot of growth at first, the late 70s and early 80s were extremely chaotic for both the country and specifically Oklahoma. Interest rates soared, oil prices boomed, and then finally the economy faltered.
Banks were failing at the tune at one point of one a week. And so that's what that was. It was really a tough time. It was a great time to learn banking because you saw everything that went wrong.
Because of the astute leadership of both the board and management, Stillwater Bank didn't fail.
I principally give it to Tom and McCormick, Mr. McCormick. that really said, well, while all these other banks are pulling back, let's move forward. And let's move forward very, very, I hate to use the word aggressively, but expeditiously. And so the reasoning behind that was this time to gather market share. I mean, it's pure and simple.
Going beyond the banking industry was important for growth and for being a better banker and community leader. On his third try, Dad was chosen to be a White House Fellow in Washington, D.C., where he met many lifelong friends, one of which is Kian Pham. Their first meeting would prove to be a game changer in their personal and business lives.
A very serious man. He looked serious. He talked serious. And I learned, to my shocking surprise, that he got selected White House Fellow, but he didn't go to a fancy school. So I thought, must be special somehow. You know, he turned out to be a special man, special guy. I could feel a real friendship in him very quickly. And he was curious about my work.
The year of being a White House Fellow broadened his perspective and opened up his worldview to bigger and better possibilities.
I think he cares about the person in front of him. You can tell that he cares about people. He's very thoughtful.
After he was a White House fellow, he went to Harvard and took a year scholastically, academically, and got his Master of Public Administration from Harvard. And those were two really keynote things that he did that were more than just extension as being a banker.
After a year at Harvard, there was one more stop, Governor Bellman's office in Oklahoma City.
And that's where he kind of honed his skills on creating strategic plans and visions and all. And he got quite good at it. He's probably top in his field.
After that, it was time to get back into banking. In 1988, we moved to Tulsa so that Dad could run the Tulsa division of Stillwater National Bank. He took all his experience and used it not only to grow that division to more than $300 million, but to continue his work on growing the community and local businesses.
So he had really grown this division in Tulsa. And that's what he did, but he did it by hiring the right people, and he didn't get it. He never gets in anybody's way. He just lets them sort of decide how to go about the business that they want to generate, and he backs them.
Well, the first time I met Tom Bennett Jr. was at 61st and Lewis. He just came over here to build this branch from Stillwater National Bank, and a consultant had told me about they were looking for loans, and he thought might be a good fit. Well, I called and made an appointment with his assistant. It was Laura Whitaker. I remember this. And we had a scheduled time. And so this was probably 1988. I get my best and only blue suit and red tie all dolled up, and I go up to the bank for a meeting. I walk in, I greet Laura, I sit down in the lobby waiting for an appointment. I was a few minutes early. I'm looking around in the lobby, and I see all these awards that Tom had earned, and pictures of him in the White House, and just on and on and on, and how all these degrees. And I really got intimidated. I was scared. In fact, I was getting up to leave, and Laura said, "He's come up here now," and so I couldn't. When I got up to leave, instead of going to the door, I had to go in his office. And so I go in his office, and I am just petrified. And he makes me feel at ease. And so we talk about my project, and he said, "Well, you know, BJ, I'd like to spend half a day with you, and just go out and look at your project, what you're trying to do, and get to know more about it." And I really panicked then. I thought, "Oh my goodness, I got to spend half a day with this guy that I can't even spell some of his degrees." And so we scheduled this time, and we went out about a week later. We went out and spent half a day together, and I was just as intimidated then as I was the first day, but it worked out really well. And what was strange about that day was that, and I told my wife later, I said, he really didn't talk too much about pizza and numbers and stuff like that. He was spending more time asking about me and you and what our goals and dreams were. He wanted to know more about, as much more about us personally as he did the business. And hindsight, I know what he was doing. He'd already done the research on the business, the numbers. He'd already looked at all that stuff. But he wanted to know who was behind the numbers, and he wanted to know, are you committed or are you not? And he wanted to know me inside out. And because I never will forget that day we go back up to the bank, I'm dropping him off, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, he didn't even ask me about this stuff. He's not even gonna do this loan, he's being nice. And he looked at me and he said, BJ said, I don't know how we're gonna do this, but I like your concept, I like what you're trying to do, and I believe in your commitment. Would stop by my office on the way back, and he'd met Becky, my wife. He said, I really believe in you and your wife and your commitment, and I think you can do this. He said, now, I don't know how we're going to figure the loan out, but we'll have to do some work on that. And so it did evolve, and we had a great run, and he's been very influential in that way.
And while planting roots in Tulsa, it was important to again get involved in a church and start forming lasting relationships and influencing lives outside of banking as well.
When Jessica and I got married and moved to Tulsa, we became part of the Bennett family. And in fact, I got baptized when we were in Tulsa after we were married at the church that they invited us into. And so it pretty quickly morphed into a lifelong friendship that was more family than anything else. I think that what was so important to me was Tom's ability to inspire confidence in me, that I could go to Harvard. In my case, it was Harvard Business School, and that I could, have a career that I wasn't quite sure that I could do it or not. And he inspired confidence in me, invested a ton of time. I think he wrote, I don't know how many letters of recommendations for grad school and national scholarships, which took, when Tom says he's going to write something, he puts everything into it. And I think we all need mentors in our lives. That we don't need 50 of them, but we need at least one who give us that confidence that we can be something that maybe we're not so sure we can be. And Tom was always there to do that. And you're right, that evolved into a family friendship.
Years and years and years ago, I think I was a reporter and interacted with Tom. And I remember him saying to me, you need to run for office. You need to run for office. That was always back in the back of my mind. And I have reminded him of that recently. And he's like, oh, okay. So I have Tom to blame and thank for my years as a county commissioner, and now this latest effort.
I think Tom offered an alternative role model from my father and his father. Ranching fathers are a little rougher and gruffer, and Tom was much more refined, and so offered a great alternative role model for which I'm forever indebted.
As it turns out, Tom takes advice from his friends and family too. In 1998, there was a car ride that would change everything once again.
And I said, Tom, you're unique. You're a successful guy in building banks. Why don't you build a bank here, which you would run and control and make the decisions on, instead of wasting a lot of time in academia.
And I'd say, Tom, you need to start a bank. And I really think you've been a banker all your life, so that's probably what you need to do. The very same week, Tom calls me one day, and I think he and Tom 3, were driving to Colorado on a ski trip, and they decided that, you know what, I think we can start a bank.
The gist of it was that became the cornerstone of starting something new, but it took their minds together, and the momentum that can get going when both are working alike, thinking, well, this might be an idea, and an idea that could become to a plan and come to fruition.
The original question was about Tom. I invest in the person. And anything he asked me to do, I would do.
Well, he's a very likable man, and but he's a visionary.
You can see how Tom operates by the way he lives. He really focuses on helping other people understand their needs, try to build help to build their vision. I think Tom is very intuitive, really understands and works with people extremely well. The whole focus of the bank is really to treat all of our customers and our staff, and all of the officers, the investors, everyone extremely well. Tom says again and again, it's like the golden rule. We want to treat others as we want to be treated.
And that's what created Oklahoma National Bank, which went on to be very successful.
It didn't take too long. It was like a 5 or 6 month process. It was all to get our application approved and everything and open the bank, which was pretty fast.
Tom, you made Ben Johnson and I look awfully good. And thank you for what you've done for our bank and this community.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And after the fact, you know, I'd had people, other bankers, some of our competitors that would say that you got lucky. You know, you can't do that again. And I somewhat believed that because things did go well for us. And in banking, usually so much is out of your control with the economy and stuff. And we went through some rough times even there with the real estate bust and everything. But no, I didn't think it was impossible. In fact, I was pretty sure that after we sold, you know, I want to do this again, prove that it can be done twice. And so we did.
I've been able to watch Tom take something de novo and grow it to the point where we sold O&B. And I've also been observing First Oklahoma Bank since its beginning.
Now First Oklahoma Bank. Under 14 years, First Oklahoma has organically grown to over $1 billion in assets. The First Oklahoma Bank family includes over 300 investors, 120 employees, and nearly 10,000 customers. We're just getting started.
You know, an interesting thing about bankers is that the whole success of a bank depends on the success of the community in which they're located. And yet we rarely see bankers as committed to the community in a contributing sort of way as Tom and Sue Bennett have been. You know, they make the community better.
The combo, the two of those people together, you know, they are the true heart of public servants in every way, shape, and form. And they roll that into their banking business, which is really incredible. And you talk about two people who always want the best for their community. That's Tom and Sue Bennett.
Tom, as a leader on our Diversity and Inclusion Council, brought some really important lived experiences. And one of the most critical was the work that he did with the Afghan refugee situation and the Burmese refugees and immigrants into our community, our new neighbors, right? And Tom and Sue, living their faith and living their value, really helped lead a multi-faith effort to say, who among us, if we were in another community, forced there from warfare or violence or poverty, whatever the case may be, who among us wouldn't need help? And he not only made sure that the communities had basic needs, you know, food, clothing, those kinds of things, and helped his church step up and other churches as well, but he's gone above and beyond that, as he always does, and thought about the financial stability and how we help people be economically mobile and grow for their families, and has helped employed people, shown the community that immigrants and refugees make great employees. And so he's done that, and it's a proof point. You know, people in the community say, well, if Tom Bennett can do it and First Oklahoma Bank can do it, we should look into that. We need great employees. And so, again, he leads by example. He leads by demonstrating and living his values, and it truly makes the community stronger.
He has a strong conviction to help people, has a really high level of integrity, and has great ideas.
And often those thoughts and ideas seem to show up at the right time and at the right place, like with Simple Simons. When COVID hit, the company's 242 stores were struggling to keep their doors open. And then, when hope and morale are all but lost, BJ opens up the Tulsa World and sees an article by Tom Bennett Jr. It was just the dose of hope Simple Simon's Pizza needed.
I was ready to throw in the towel. I was ready to say, hey, I don't know what to do. And so I get the article, I come to our staff meeting, and I said, guys, I want to read you something that a friend of mine wrote. I said, he's been to me my whole life. You all know him. And so I read the article, and it says, then came Sunday. Then came Sunday, you know. And so that next week was tough. It was tough, but we fought through it. We fought through it. And then the third week of what we call COVID times, the third week, we saw a turn. We saw it start to change. We saw the things we were doing get results. The third week, the third day. And so that article, it's in my office, it's right by my computer. I see it every day. I glance at it every day I'm in the office, I glance at it. And it has motivated me, it has driven me, it has given me a dose of hope. God intervened with us when we couldn't help ourselves. God intervened for us, but it was through Tom's message. He was the message for us.
Banking's what we do for a living. Mom and Dad have shown there's a lot more to life.
So when Tom and Sue started talking about going to Russia, both Carol and I were very interested. We were really excited about the focus of their mission and working with these young orphans that were probably never going to be adopted. And they were concerned about their being able to function as adults because there wasn't much of a transition provided for those young people.
When I think of Tom, I think of four things in particular. First of all, is integrity. I have my own personal Tom Bennett test that when I'm going to make a decision about finances for the ministry, what would Tom think about this? And would Tom approve? And does it have anything that might be sketchy? And so if it does, then that goes out the window. Because it has to pass the Tom Bennett test. Another is loyalty. Tom has been very loyal. And young people that he met 23 years ago, stays in touch with them, communicates with them, encourages them, which brings me to the third point of encourager. I've been the beneficiary of Tom's encouragement as well. But the orphans, interpreters that we've had, staff members that we've had, he's just a tremendous encourager, and I'm so grateful for that. And that falls in line with his servant spirit.
Tom and I started off as good friends. We've become closer friends over the years. The whole family I consider to be friends. And it's come because, you know, they're the kind of people that you want to think of as friends, because being a friend is a two-way street. And so the Bennetts have been there for us, and we try to be there for the Bennetts. And it's not just a civic relationship, it's not just a business relationship at the bank. It's the kind of human relationship that really makes a difference in people's lives.
And our relationship has been so easy, and there are no characters involved, you know. There's character involved, but no characters involved.
Tom, I want to thank you for the help that you've given me through the years. And Lord, I don't even know how many years that is, 30, 35 years or so of your 50 that's been involved in banking. I appreciate the advice and the help you've given to me, and I know you've given it to many others. And thank you for being you.
Because of Tom Bennett, we've evolved into the top 30 pizza chains in America consistently. And because of Tom Bennett, we've been able to influence many people and make a difference in their lives because of the difference he made in our lives. He gave us opportunity. He gave us hope. We've given a lot of people hope and opportunity. He took the time to mentor me, not just in the pizza business and the people business.
I think Tulsa gets the benefit of all those 50 years of experience and 50 years of passion for that community. I mean, nothing is let up on that front. Congratulations, Tom and Sue, and many, many more years. Thank you for all you do. So grateful.
What I always remember about Tom, particularly back then, was he would get engaged in a conversation about the future and what I wanted to accomplish and all the different ways I could get there. And he talked about his path and the journey he went on. And what I still love about Tom today is he helps you imagine what you could be and what you can do and gets you charged up. And that's kind of what I remembered attracting me to Tom is he got me to believe in possibilities because, being from Oklahoma, he helped me in Oklahoma State. He kind of helped me think about broader horizons in ways that I hadn't before. What a remarkable journey. And I just congratulate Tom on a successful year in banking, but a successful career in banking, but more importantly, congratulate him on all the lives of people he's touched along the way and the example that he set.
Tom, what I want to say is that we need you to stay visible in this community because you help us all be better, from the Afghan refugee crisis to the banking understanding and pandemics and everything in between. And you help us be stronger. I need you in our community, in my ears, but you will always be in my heart as a great role model and mentor. Congratulations and thank you for everything you've done in this community.
Tom, I liken your experience in banking to the Rothschilds. You have started from the beginning in a de novo capacity and grown the bank in a remarkable size and a remarkable sale event. And now I watch you do it again. I think that there's a lot of juice left in the squeeze, and I look forward to it.
Congratulations on your 50 plus years now. And it's been a wonderful ride. This has been a great trip all these years, and I appreciate you allowing me to participate.
I told Tom that I shall name him my last quarter friend. And he said, "What's that?" I said, "Well, you always keep a quarter in your pocket so you can make a phone call to your lawyer when you're in jail, and I keep my quarter. If I get into trouble, I call Tom. And I know Tom will handle the rest of it. I don't have to worry. So I call him my last quarter friend."
I've come out of the Quick Trip thing, as you well know, and Quick Trip has surrounded itself with very smart people, and so has Tom Bennett. Yeah. Smart people make you a lot of money. Yeah, they make you look really good. No doubt about it.
I've only known 2 or 3 bankers in my life, so Tom's at the top of the list of those 2 or 3. As a person, honesty, integrity.
When we have a phone conversation, the very last thing he always says is, "Let me know how I can be most helpful." And he means it.
And I just appreciate him so much and how he has treated me and how he has treated so many people. He calls it a ministry of banking, and he's turned it into that. He's made it that.